What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's doing great out there. I'm fabulous as per usual because I get to talk some football with y'all for the next little bit, and we got some good stuff coming, man. 30 teams right now have entered off-season preparations where we got 2 teams left to duke it out in the Super Bowl. We got the Eagles and the Chiefs. They're going for the Super Bowl supremacy, and I mean, now is the time we got other things to talk about. And I'll tell you right now, we're talking Senior Bowl players to watch, running back edition. The Reese Senior Bowl, you gotta love it. It is the beginning of the off season, and this is one of the contests I really enjoy. I think that, we get to see how these NFL coaches, try to help these young prospects along in their development, and this is a great game for, them to lift their draft stock that much more. There isn't necessarily the top-end talent that we've seen in previous years at the Senior Bowl this year, but there still is very good talent to discuss. Late-round flyers, mid-round flyers, they're going to be all over, riddled in this game, and there are players that need to get put on notice, and they need a very good showing. So what do you say we dissect some of these talents at the running back position, because the offseason is just getting started, baby. So for those of you that are not familiar necessarily with the Senior Bowl, don't really pay attention, maybe this is the year you start to pay attention a little bit more, because I'm going to nudge you in that direction. It's good stuff. I mean, this is the next crop of players that are likely coming to the NFL as well, so we need to know their names, not only for your favorite team, but for fantasy football purposes. That's why I'm here. I love it. We're good. I might have to change my pants soon because, it's getting exciting. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. Don't worry. We got the national team and the American team for the running back position. Cameron Peoples, Chase Brown, Roschon Johnson, Evan Hall, Kenny McIntosh, Chris Rodriguez, Eric Gray, and Taji Spears. These are your running backs. And like I said, okay, there is good talent here. And maybe not necessarily, round 2 products, maybe more round 3. But some of these guys could find their way and slip in to the end of round 2 if they do put on a good show here at the Senior Bowl. I got some players I want to talk about because I'm really much, enamored with their tape right now. Started early here a little bit. Haven't gone through every single game I want to just yet. Just going to give you a little synopsis on how I see these guys, high level. And then I'll break down their film and full-on scouting reports as we continue down the off-season. But Chase Brown, Roschon Johnson, Illinois and Texas respectively, and then Kenny McIntosh from Georgia, the UGA, the champions once again. Eric Gray from Oklahoma. I'm a big fan of his game as well. But I want to, break down what I see in these players because they are talented individuals. And with a good Senior Bowl showing, they could uplift their stock that much more. And it's all about the dollars for them as well. Let's start with Chase Brown. West Michigan and Illinois. He'd spent time with both clubs early on with West Michigan, transferred to Illinois, basically played his entire collegiate career there. He is 5'11", 200 pounds. He is a put-together human. He looks good, okay? I do like his game. He's one of these under-the-radar type of running backs that could have a very decent NFL career. The 6 to 8 year window could be very much in Chase Brown's, repertoire because of how he is. Career statistics, 45 games, almost 700 attempts, 676, 3,558 yards, 5.3 on the average, and 18 touchdowns. So you see the productivity is definitely there, man. He did not cross that 700 carry threshold in 45 games, which is good, which means he's still a little bit fresh. But, he has put up the good amount of yardage, man. 3,500 yards, nothing to sneeze at in those games. It's a very good put-together stat line. 18 scores, so he is able to get into that end zone, especially on Illinois, who isn't necessarily a top offensive club in college football. When we're talking about some of his pros, man, he does have a put-together frame. You just look at the picture. Those arms are bulging. He's a put-together human, man. He can definitely carry the rock. He can handle the volume. I don't have any qualms about that in his game. I do believe that he is that stout that he's going to be able to at least be a good change of pace back in the NFL. Would not, take out of the realm of possibilities that if he does continue to increase and produce, he could eventually be a workhorse type of back in the NFL. He does have that ability. He's got great wheels and great speed. You got to love that out of a player, especially at the running back position. The way the NFL game now is, man, you got to be fast and you got to catch passes from the backfield. Those are imperative now in running running backs. Otherwise, they don't really get looked at anymore as much in the day two, at least round two, round three. Not typically in that realm. But I mean, he does have great speed, like I'm saying. Quick feet also. He's got that nice combination of quick feet and speed. The cut movements are there as well. Good change of direction. Does follow Chase Brown a lot, and he is good at that. He is fabulous in pass pro. This is going to be another notch, I should say, that is going to uplift him, because what can you do for an NFL team? Protect the quarterback and have sure hands and catch passes out of the backfield. That's what you require if you're going to be type of spell back situation and you want to get on the field. Chase Brown could be that guy. We just got to talk about his hands. Little bit average at this point, but they are improving. They did utilize him a lot on screen plays this past year, so they did showcase the fact that he can catch the ball. It's not bricks for hands, but he's definitely not polished in that respect. Good change of direction. I do believe I did say that. He's able to make people miss on the field. It's not like Shady McCoy elusive, but he's got good change of direction in that respect. Like I said, great at pass pro, strong back. He's very physical that way. Maybe not necessarily the goal line rusher that we're looking for, but I do believe that he can do it. It's not something that he is not in his game, and he should be able to continue to move forward that way. Next one we got is Roschon Johnson, Texas product, 6'2", 223, and we'll get these weights cleared up 100% once these guys hit the combine and their pro days. We'll see the measurements be that much more clear. I mean, right now it's still a little bit of a ballpark coming off the college football sites, websites. That's where we get all these players' measurements right now. Career games for Roschon, 47 games. He played a lot, man. 392 in attempts, 2190 in yardage, 5.6, nice 5.6 on the average, and 23 touchdowns scored. He was, okay, the biggest problem with him right now is because he was Bijan Robinson's backup. So everyone put him in the afterthought. There are some in the community that are preaching up his services, as am I. I've always been a Roschon Johnson fan. He's got a lot of great characteristics and traits that we do like, that I do like, and I do covet from my running backs. He is one of these guys as well. He is a put-together person as well. Great in pass pro. He might be one of the best in all of college football coming into this draft when it comes to pass pro and protecting the quarterback. It is a very big positive, and one that will keep him on an NFL roster just for that sake alone on third downs. He is that guy that you require to block for your quarterback and pick up the blitz when it's coming off the edge. Roschon can do that with extreme efficiency and capability. He does have good speed. It's not elite. I mean, he's never really going to blow past anybody, and that's not part of his game. So you're not drafting a Roschon to, showcase that ability, but it's everything else that he does put together in his game that you're going to really like. Good quickness is there. So quick over fast, I do want to say as well for a Roschon Johnson. He does have good cut ability. He's got the hurdles. He's got some athletic ability in his game. He does have very good strength. This is what you're doing. So when you tap on the fact of good foot quickness and then, good cut ability and athletic movements like hurdling over guys and then having the stiff arm, he's a very difficult man to take down. He's always going to be punishing, and he's going to try to gain those extra yards. He just won't necessarily break away, and have that top-end burst. Like I'm saying, top-end burst for me is definitely in question. Want to see if he can showcase some of that here at the Senior Bowl, and it's going to be, that much better for his draft stock, no kidding. He does have good receiving ability. It's improving as well. I wouldn't say he's sure-handed at this point. I mean, he can catch the ball. He's showcased that more often than not, and he will be a viable option in the screen game and the flats, especially with the fact that he does have extreme good pass pro. I mean, that's what a team is going to want him to do. So in the combine, especially if he goes to the combine, you're going to see a lot of teams and scouts looking at his hands to see if he can catch the ball with some level of fluidity. That way it's not slapping off the hands. And that's what we're going to talk about wide receivers, because, I mean, if the ball's slapping off the hands, it's not a trait you like, man. You want to see him corral those balls. And I know, okay, whatever. I'm going to move on to the next running back, because corralling balls is not something I necessarily want to talk about, man. Kenny McIntosh from UGA. He is another fan favorite of mine. I mean, this guy... It's interesting in UGA because we know the plethora of talented running backs that have come from this program. They constantly, it's a rotation. So they have 3 backs that they typically use. Once those backs end up going to the NFL draft, the stable is still stockpiled, and Kenny McIntosh now gets his turn. 40 contests for this man, 279 in attempts, 1582 in yards, 5.7 on the average, and a decent 16 touchdowns. So based on the productivity of 279 attempts and 16 touchdowns, it is a very good stat line for a Kenny McIntosh. For his pros and his ability, I'm looking to see here at the Senior Bowl. He's got sound athletic ability. That's what you're getting out of this man right now. Very smooth running style. It's almost a joy to watch. You know, when you see like someone like an Isaiah Pacheco, I cannot get on board with that man's running style. Even though he's a productive running back, it's just not something that I would covet as a scout to say, you know, that's something that really, turns my head. It makes me want to throw up sometimes the way he runs. Even though like you said, Pacheco is very fast and he's efficient. I like the running style of a guy like Kenny McIntosh that much more. I think it's more it's more suitable for a system at any point where you can have him in the pass game as well. He does have great body balance as seen, you know, catching the ball, you know, sideline runs, cutting back, extremely good and to great body balance. Good outside running back. I don't know necessarily if you're going to want him to be the guy going up the middle of the tackles. Not saying he can't do it, but I think that more outside is going to be his game in the NFL. Probably going to be the third down back as well for a club, but he can definitely run in between the tackles. He's just better suited going outside. Very good speed in this man. Should run a sub 4.4 in the combine on the 40-yard dash. Kenny's he's got a lot of ability, a lot of skills that you do like out of his game. Above average power, I want to say right now as of today. That might change as I continue down the path of film study. But I mean, right now, above average power, there's no knock for me to say that he can't bulldoze a few guys, maybe a nickelback or something in that respect. But he's got good enough ability in that sense to break tackles at least. Very good receiving back to great receiving back in his collegiate career. 76 receptions, 861 in yards, and 4 touchdowns scored in the pass game. So you can see, I know playing with Bennett, there was a lot of opportunity for him to catch passes. Now in the NFL, you could see a lot of this, you know, James White appeal coming out of this man. Not saying he's James White at this point just yet, but you could see that role be something for a Kenny McIntosh. He is a good player. I'm looking at him to be a standout here at the Senior Bowl. Moving on to Eric Gray, last one on my board, Tennessee and Oklahoma product. He did transfer out of Tennessee to go to OU. And I mean, I think it was a stroke of genius for him. It was a better system to exploit his abilities. He stands 5'9", 206. He's got a very stout lower body, which will definitely benefit him in the NFL at some point. Career statistics, 47 games, 549 in attempts, over 3,000 yards, 3,089, 5.6 on the average, and 21 rushing touchdowns. When he was playing with Caleb Williams, you saw everything come out of greatness in this man that could potentially be. When Williams transferred over to USC, I mean, it wasn't necessarily the best possible thing. So you saw Gray's stats go down just a little bit. The offense wasn't as dynamic as it was, even with Spencer Rattler at that time. But I mean, Rattler got benched, obviously, for Caleb Williams. It was a very good show. If you want to see Eric Gray at his best, you go watch the film with Caleb Williams. I watched a ton of OU ball games when Caleb was there as a starting quarterback. But for his pros, things I'm looking at to be confirmed at the Senior Bowl as well. He is more quick than fast for me right now. I don't think the top end, speed is necessarily there, but he's not one of these backs that is going to get caught by everyone. He can break free into that second level, but he will likely get caught before he makes a house call. That's kind of what you're getting from an Eric Gray. Acceleration over burst, I want to say, is my staple right now. Could that change? Perhaps. But everything I've seen from him right now, I do believe the accelerators are there. The burst is initial foot burst, and the acceleration is like 2 or 3 steps, and then he takes off running. That's kind of what I'm saying between the two of acceleration and burst. Good open field elusiveness is there. He does make people miss. He does have that ability. It's not necessarily, going to juke and shake anybody out of their pants, but he's got enough ability to make people miss, which is a very good positive for a running back heading into the NFL draft. He's good in between the tackles. So if you're looking for a running back that is able to do it, Eric Gray can definitely do that with high regularity and efficiency. I do believe that in his game as we sit today, that he is not precluded from going in between the tackles. Lane and gap awareness might be a problem as he gets in the NFL. Might take him a couple, half the season or something to get into the groove and understand where gap awareness is in the NFL, but there's no question that I do believe that he can do it. He's got good cutback lane ability. The holes close up, and he finds his way into another hole to try to gain positive yards. He's extremely tough to bring down and is always fighting for more yardage. That's a great sign. He's rarely tackled behind the line of scrimmage, and that's a great sign for any running back, especially for my team. If I'm an NFL GM, I definitely want guys that fall forward over than getting stifled and stuffed in the backfield. I should say it that way, but I mean he definitely is a tough get to bring down on any game. No kidding than that. Better receiver than most think. I do believe this is part of his MO. He can catch the ball very well. He's just not necessarily in the elite category of ball catchers coming from the backfield. Something like we saw out of a Ramondre Stevenson. A lot of people did question Ramondre's catching ability. I did not. I was telling all y'all that Ramondre can catch the ball with high efficiency and regularity. I think Eric Gray is going to eventually turn into one of those guys as well. There aren't that many drops in his game. He's able to make the plays, and I think he's going to be able to do that. As long as he improves and keeps working on that craft, he will be a very tough guy to take off the field once he is, put together in that sense. And like I said, good frame overall, very stout lower body. It's something that you're definitely looking for a smaller in stature running back because he can push the piles with those, strength in those legs. He does have that. Eric Gray is definitely one I'm watching this week at the Senior Bowl. So there you have it. That is 4 running backs out of the crop of 8, I believe, that are here at the Senior Bowl that I'm discussing, that I'm going to be looking and paying a great heap of attention to see if they can turn my eye, take their game to another level, and showcase their talents that much more to help boost their draft stock, because that's what this is about. It's about boosting the draft stock, and so we can understand who these players are. A lot of talented players went to the Senior Bowl, saw their draft stock rise, and now they're in the NFL doing damage. So never negate games like the Senior Bowl, because that's why it's here. It's put together for guys like us to go and break it down and see what's going on. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.